Hey, it's Sandra from Inspired Keyboardist, and I'd like to share in this video about what I learned after using MainStage for a month. So I am pretty new to MainStage and the learning curve is really steep, but it's also very exciting. I am enjoying my worship gigs a whole lot more, but I do have 5 big things that just popped right out within this month. So let's get started. The first reason is that tech problems can be such a pain. So I encountered a lot of problems, like I wasn't sure how to make a patch transfer from one concert to another, and there are so many more problems. Sometimes the sound turns up different during the worship rehearsal, and yeah, I'm still trying to figure out a lot of those problems. So some of the things I really recommend that you can do will be to check out these Facebook groups: MainStage Worship Sounds, Omnisphere Worship Sounds, and Worship Musicians. They are really helpful, so be sure to check those out. There are lots of people in those groups that really do commit to answering your questions as much as they are able to, and I just really appreciate how they've helped me so much. Okay, Omnisphere is like another kind of software, but it's way bigger in scope. It's got lots of nice pad and lead sounds, and I've asked questions over here as well, but it's actually manned by the same people, so same goes for worship musicians. So that's a good solution for any of your tech problems if you're also facing tech problems like me. So the second reason is when unprepared, MainStage can be very distracting. And so like, for example, if we look at this Worship Essentials mode, you can see that there are lots of knobs and faders that you can play around with. So what I realized was when I was playing at worship, I ended up just being so focused on all of those things. Like I was playing around the shimmer, I was playing around with the reverb, I was playing around with the compressor, I was playing around with the different kinds of instrument. So I ended up just focusing so much on all these knobs and faders that I was told that I wasn't really looking at a worship leader a lot, and I noticed that about myself, and I was also quite lost during the worship set. So that's something for me to learn. Like, I think the best solution to this problem will be to do your homework. Make sure you go home and you really know what sounds and what settings you want them to be, so that during worship you can be present. So the third thing I noticed about worship keyboard playing with MainStage is that I now have an array of non-piano sounds to use, and in fact I don't even feel like I want to use piano sounds anymore. So some of the really good alternatives are synths, so such as this one. I'm gonna just mute the piano and I can just use that's really cool. Aside from those, you can also use sounds like, oh, here's another kind of synth that you can consider. It's from that Pancake and Pie. Right, really cool as well. I also like to use Rhodes a lot. Or you have different kinds of Rhodes that you can choose from. Or EP, like this one from Cloudy EP and Pad. So be sure to play around with those, because you might find that the bass is not as strong as you would like it. So yeah, I would love to encourage you to stop using piano sounds so much. I mean, I think they have a place, but we're also overusing them a lot. So try to train your ears to see if you can use some non-piano sounds instead. So the fourth thing I noticed is that I'm beginning to think more like a synth keyboardist. So even when I'm listening to music, I'm actually analyzing the layers. And you know, last time it would be like, oh, you listen to this song and there's a pad, and it's just a pad. This time, I am actually checking out what kind of pad it is. Is it airy? Is it warm? Is it analog? Is it thick? And it's really cool. It's like I'm starting to analyze, and I even want to try to mimic or emulate the same kind of pad. So pads are no longer just the same thing anymore. Same goes for leads. I want to find out what kind of lead is it. Is it aggressive? Is it polytone, which means you can play 2 notes at the same time or more? Or is it just single tone where you can only play 1 note at one time? So there's a lot of these really cool things to just go into, and I find that it sharpens up my ears a lot when I'm listening to songs and I'm trying to pick out the layers and analyze exactly what kind of tone it is. So this is great. It's really good for, like, I think as a musician, it's really good exercise. And then the 5th and last reason is that I realized that equipment really does make a world of difference. So previously I had MainStage, but I wasn't really able to utilize a lot of functions because I was connecting it to my digital piano P115 by Yamaha. And I realized it didn't have any of those knobs and faders that I needed because it was not designed for synth kind of production. And then I got a Novation Launch Key 61, and I am having an awesome time playing around with all the different sound capabilities using the slides and faders and knobs. And yeah, if I can just suggest that if you think about investing in an instrument that allows you to play around with all these parameters, it's just going to be great. Your world will be very different. And yeah, it used to be that for one patch you can only make one sound. This time, one patch can make as many sounds as you can think of, especially if you use something like Worship Essentials, where Abel Mendoza has put in tons of different knobs and faders like delays and compressor and shimmer, and it's really cool. This is supposed to be compressor. I'm not quite sure why it's not showing up. So yeah, equipment makes a world of difference. Another thing that I would like to strongly recommend is that if you can use a powerful laptop, because I used to be using a 2009 white MacBook, and now I'm using a 2015 MacBook Pro, which is 16 gig RAM, and it's just so much faster. I don't have to worry about my computer crashing in the middle of a concert. And yeah, if you plan to do a lot of live playing, then I will highly suggest that you invest in a good laptop that doesn't crash in the middle of a concert. So there you have it, 5 things that I learned from using MainStage for a month. There's a lot more to learn as I enter into my next few months, and I might just decide to create another video to share what I've learned, but thanks so much for journeying with me. Now, if you would like to give your feedback about things or share what you learned, be sure to check out the Inspired Keyboardist Community Facebook group. Instructions are below on how to join it. Lots of worship keyboardists are hanging out there, and we want to find out from you, and we want to give input and learn from each other. And of course, if you would like to subscribe to my email list so that you can get some free PDFs and slowed videos from my previous tutorials, do so over there. If you also want to check out 12-week Worship Keyboard Mastery Coaching Program, it's also available. Just click the link below. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!